know best.
Welcome to No Vest MVP, episode 5. Jalen, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Just relaxing, per usual. Happy to be on another call, another week. Like everyone
I
else.
can't get rid of you, man.
Yeah, like everyone else, man. I look forward to this these days. So
Well,
yeah, we're
Jalen, you
here. I'm ready to
say
rock.
like everyone else, but I want to bring something up. We were the number one growing podcast in the world, and I read an article earlier this morning. I think it was on the Journal Sentinel. We are now the number one declining podcast in the world.
Interesting. Number one, nonetheless.
No, I mean we're still number one, so
Yeah.
we still have that title, that status,
Right.
and I think you would agree our honeymoon phase is over. I think people came to check us out, but now I think we have that core fan base that are our every week listeners. We've narrowed it down. We've got rid of some of the extra. We trimmed the fat. We don't, maybe we don't really need those people. If you want to listen, that's fine. But I think we have our core base of listeners.
Yeah, it's good to see some familiar faces, in the DMs, in the comment sections. The homies, the
homies.
Novesters,
The
as we
day
call
one
them.
Novesters.
Yeah, the day ones. They'll be here, they were here. They'll be here when we're 100 episodes in, 200, wherever. I think a lot of people maybe they don't expect the consistency. We're coming with that consistency. You'll see
We
us
really
every
are.
week. You'll
We
see us
really
every
are.
week.
So I want to give a shout out to Tosa East. I actually graduated there. Jalen transferred. He had to get out of the kitchen. He couldn't handle the heat. Maybe
Yeah.
actually, Jay, maybe we actually get into this. I know I didn't bring this up prior, but
No pre-pro.
was there any reason why you transferred from Tosa East? I think people listening would actually like to know. Was it sports related?
Yeah, it was sports related. At the time, you could say that I was taking football more seriously.
Okay.
And I think we all know how well Tosa East football wasn't at the time.
Yeah.
Not that I was competing for state championships or anything like that, but yeah, it was definitely sports involved. And then also, I think I just wanted to switch it up a little bit. Like some other unforeseen circumstances maybe that were out of my control.
Okay.
That maybe were like I didn't enjoy it as much. I miss it a little bit. I don't miss it, but I missed it at the time.
Okay.
But I still hung out with everyone,
Oh
so
yeah.
it
No,
was almost
absolutely.
like I got all the best perks of going there without going there.
No, I
almost.
think I know a ton of people from Pius just through you. So it was like hanging out.
Right, yeah. I
Which was
introduced a
pretty
lot of
sweet.
people.
But I wanted to get into So Tosa East won state. Congratulations to the entire coaching staff, all the alumni. A lot of people I've grown up playing basketball with for many years. But I did notice something during the state week, and I actually went to the games. I was lucky enough to
Nice.
have super alumni status, former baller there. So I was able to get in the bleachers, which was awesome. And I noticed that the kids nowadays wear these short shorts when they're playing. Now, I don't know what it is, but I know back in like the early 2000s, the Carmelo Anthonys, the Allen Iversons, the Chauncey Billups, they used to wear these big baggy shorts, and that was kind of the swagger, was this wearing like two pairs of shorts, basically to like your ankles, like MC Hammer
Yeah.
shorts, but
Yeah.
instead of pants, shorts. And now I see these kids and they roll up these shorts and it's like they're wearing boxers out there. I don't know. It's like a swimsuit. It looks a little ridiculous. I don't think it's a great look, but
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Trends tend to, repeat themselves. So that was how it used to be. It's now coming back, you could say. I don't know. I would imagine a guy, you're a taller guy. I would think you would be for it. You get to like think they like, oh, look at me, I'm tall, look how long my legs are, kind of thing. Me, a shorter guy, I don't have like the big legs. A short
No
doesn't
daddy
look that
long legs
good.
on
Yeah,
Jay Fish.
shorts don't look, they don't show anything off. It's just so it's like doesn't really make sense for me. But yeah, no, I'm not a fan of it either. I liked the somewhere in the middle of the baggy.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
like them, so I
completely
couldn't
agree.
do a tween.
Yeah.
I'd like to get my tweens
Could
through
you did
without
you
getting
ever
caught.
develop the between the legs dribble, or did you bow out of
No,
basketball right
no, that
before
I'm
that?
just speaking in practice. I'm only talking about
And
practice.
only in practice. Um,
Yeah.
but I also wanted to talk about, because I was at the state game, and obviously at the state level, parents are into it, the fans are into it, and it's almost, it's borderline like the talent isn't like a college or NBA game, but like the intensity of like the fan engagement is
Sure.
almost at that level. People are very into it. But I specifically want to talk about like youth sports because I think it when you're on varsity, I think it's acceptable to yell at the referees, have parents jaw at the refs a little bit. But when you're in youth sports, and I ref, I ref during
Oh, yeah.
basketball. I ref. I find it fun, to get out there, and it keeps me engaged with the game. But some of these parents, and it's the ones who don't know anything about the game that generally yell the
Right.
loudest. And then it's like, okay, is the kid gonna tell them to be quiet, or is like another parent gonna maybe like hint like, hey, calm down, or am I the referee gonna have to be like, ma'am or sir, either you shut it or I'm gonna kick you out and your kid's gonna be embarrassed.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can go with that as a ref, because I did ref some youth sports as well a few years back. I think they're looking for the reaction,
Hmm.
and what the problem is the other parents around them, they kind of gas them up a little bit. They're like
Yeah.
chuckling in the background. They think it's funny when he calls for like over and back or something when he doesn't
Yeah.
really know the rules. But they like to get those jabs in between plays at the free throw line when it's real
Hmm.
quiet. And they want you to respond. So I played the mental game. I never even acknowledge the fans. Never
Smart move.
acknowledge the fans. They're not a part of the game to me. But
And that's
it's
weird
hard
for
not to sometimes, I'll admit.
now, Jay. Your dad helped coach, our youth sports, along with our dads were our
Yeah,
basketball
also
coaches.
a notorious youth sports hothead parent. Like he's the guy
Probably
yelling at the
the
refs.
most I've ever seen. I would say maybe one or two dads may have been more aggressive than him, as in they intimidated the refs a little bit
Well,
more.
he did know the game.
He
It
did know the
wasn't
game.
like he was calling just like nonsense calls. Like he
No,
he knew a little bit. So, but yeah, he was very loud, and
very
yeah,
loud.
I think it sets a little bit of an edge. You
It
know what I'm
does.
saying? I think we might have fed off that a little bit. Obviously, sometimes we're up 30.
Yeah.
It becomes unnecessary at
Yeah,
some point.
yeah. He's
But
he's bitching about calls, and we're dumping it down to D Stone, who's a foot taller than everyone else.
yeah,
But kind of transitioning a little bit. Well, also, so State was at Oshkosh. It wasn't in Madison this year, and so
okay.
there was a lot of time in between games. So we walked around the city of Oshkosh and whatnot, and Oshkosh may or may not have the hottest women in the world. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
In the world,
It was like Miami. It was like Miami Beach. Like it was
it was
absolutely
it was
ridiculous.
Atlanta. It was All Star Weekend.
It was All Star Weekend in Atlanta. Like I didn't expect it, and I was there with some older neighborhood guys and whatever, and even they were like, dude, like what are these out of towners coming? Are these locals? Like it was absolutely insane. I think people are more inclined to go out to their local bar in rural areas instead of in the city because in the city you have all these COVID restrictions of oh you gotta be sitting down at a table. Oh, we're only at 50% capacity. You can't talk to other people. You gotta stay locked in your seat. Even if you're standing up talking to your own group, they'll come by and they'll be like, sit down, and it's like, what's even really the point? And also, is there a difference between me standing and sitting and my likelihood of contracting COVID-19? Like, where's the science? They're always saying the science, the
Yeah,
science. I would
show
like
me
to
the
know.
sign.
I would like to know the science of me wearing a mask in the entryway to get into somewhere, and then as soon as I get 3 steps away, I rip it off and go talk to people. I would like to know the science and the
Yeah, where's the
data.
science? There's not much.
But
But yeah, I feel you. Those small town, there's more incentive because it's a little bit freer there. You would say.
absolutely. And I think in certain areas you see like certain types of people, like in like Door County or like Waupun, for example. Like, so Waupun has like a massive prison there. You know, they
Right.
they have like this federal level, high security.
You're getting into dangerous waters. I don't know that
Well,
that's the bars you're trying to.
no,
You
no,
you're
no, no,
trying to
no.
see the.
But it's the security guards are these big dudes. You know, they're like 6'6", former D2, D3 football players. That
Right.
they're in Waupun.
From Platteville.
And they go and they get a job at the prison, and then they have their wife and they have their daughter, and their daughter's like 6'1". Like, you walk around Waupun, Jay, and you would be looking up 2 or 3 inches. Like, they just have very tall people. Now, I don't know what the demographics really like in Oshkosh, but all I can tell you is there were a lot, and I don't know if it was because of the state game, a lot of attractive girls trotting around in Oshkosh. It was very, very weird. I was thrown
That's
off.
interesting. That's interesting because I know you to be somewhat traveled. I mean, I've seen. I mean, you've been around. I would say, and
To
you,
different
for you to say the
demographics of bar in like in Wisconsin and whatnot. Yeah.
well, yeah, and all around the country,
Yeah.
and maybe international. I don't know your background, but
I've never left the country, but
all right. Well, you've been all around the country, and
yeah.
you say that Oshkosh has the hottest in the world. I just think that's
Now
I
I
don't know.
would
I think I've been to Oshkosh. I haven't been out involved in Oshkosh, as I like to say. So I can't attest, but I guess I mean, maybe some listeners will chime in. Maybe we got some Oshkosh people. They'll let us know they can vouch. We'll see.
now maybe it was a little bit of a hyperbole. Maybe they are not the hottest in the world, but it was pretty ridiculous. Is what I would say. Jay, I know you wanted to bring up almost like a segment of like the red flag of the week. So I think
Yeah.
we have had some fan engagement saying, why don't you guys bring up a segment? I think one of the segments we need to bring up is red flag of the week. Now, I kind of want to start with
Yeah.
my own red flag of the week. Maybe we do
Please.
1 week, maybe we do 2 a week. But
Yeah, I think we each give one a week. I think that'll be good. That'll
that'll be
give
good.
enough people to hold people over.
My red flag of the week is people who wear Crocs are a
Mm.
different breed of people. Like, they
Okay.
are like, there's people. I think if you categorize people in two areas, two sections, and you split them up between people who wear Crocs and people who don't wear Crocs, like,
Yeah.
there's a massive difference between those two groups of people. Massive.
Yeah, luckily I have yeah, I don't know, but luckily I haven't, had firsthand experience with a Croc wearer.
I
Um,
have, unfortunately.
yeah, it
And
sounds like you have, and I know that I can already I know where you're going with this. It
well,
is a red flag for
and it's
sure.
always like the whole like, oh, I don't wear them out in public. And it's like, what do you define as out in public? Because, like, if you go to pick up a package, like, even in,
Yeah,
like, your apartment hallway, like, to
yeah,
me, that's out in public. It's outside of the confines of your apartment. I think that's technically out. If you wear your Crocs anywhere where people can see you, and honestly, for me, I don't want to see them. So even if I come to your house or you come over, do not
yeah.
I don't even want to see them
This
in
is
the
the thing.
closet.
They don't look like they're not attractive. They don't look good. People can say that they're comfy. There's comfier shoes. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
It's
just
just
so done with the whole comfortable spiel because
yeah.
all shoes are comfortable nowadays.
Yeah, that's the point of a shoe it's to give you comfort around your foot when you're like that's the whole point. No shoe is really uncomfortable except for, the women like the high heels and all that and they
Yeah.
cram their shoes into these small shoes but yeah, no, Crocs definite red flag. And another thing you could get into that, a lot of people are into it's like a trend, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, oh, I got to go get a pair now. And yeah, that's just waters that you don't
It's
want
the
to get into.
absolute murky waters. I wouldn't even say. I would say it's a yellow. It's a flashing yellow. If
Yeah,
you see
I would
someone
agree.
with Crocs,
It's not a deal breaker.
But
But
proceed
it's a
with
warning
caution.
sign.
Proceed with
Yeah,
caution. You
proceed with
have to
caution. Absolutely.
reevaluate everything when you in the rainbow Crocs are especially murky waters.
Yeah, yeah,
Or like a bright colored, like light blue, light red, rainbow tie dye, anything like that. Those are where the waters
right.
get murky.
I agree. And it's funny. My red flag of the week. I have a feeling it's it's in the similar vein, similar ballpark, if you will. Um, like you could say a lot of people that fall into my category probably fall into your category of croc wearers. If you are over the age of, man, I want to go lower, but we'll keep it in the demo. If you're over 18 and you are an avid, over the top Disney fanatic, I'm talking like you got to go to the Disneyland, Disney World every year, or every other year. You got to have the ears. You know what I'm saying? They
The
get the new
bobbleheads.
ears. Yeah, the custom ears. You know what I'm saying? If your music, if you're listening to like Disney soundtracks, from like the old movies, you know, it's there because like I understand. Oh, Disney, it's great. I grew up a Disney kid. I love
Yeah.
Disney. Don't get me wrong. I
Orphan
love
Blue.
Disney. I've been to Disney World. I love Disney. All that, but there just becomes that line where what I'm sure you've met some of these people
I
where they're
have.
just
I
that
have.
next level of Disney, and it's just it's murky waters, I think.
I think you are absolutely right. I went to Disney World when I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. Like I
Right.
think I could have been a little bit older to really soak it all in, you know?
Sure.
But I think I was still at kind of that right age, and I went back when I was 15 or yeah, 15, and we did the
Hmm.
whole rides and everything. But I would say even when I was 15, I had kind of already just like outgrown it. And
Right.
what really made me mad was, I was in Orlando with my mom, and she was like, "Oh, let's go to Disney World." And I was like, "Why don't we go to the Universal Studios
Right.
with Harry Potter and all that?" It just came out
Yeah.
like the year
That's
before,
my speed.
and
That's more
she
my
was
speed.
like, "Oh, the lines are gonna be crazy." It was like this. It's like she didn't have a reason to believe the lines were gonna be crazy. It's just what she
Right.
told me, and other people kind of bought it too. Like, "Oh yeah, the lines. Oh, I
She
heard
talked
they're."
you out of it.
She audibled out of it. It was kind of total bullshit, Mom. If you're listening, that was fucking bullshit. But anyway,
Shame.
uh, you know, I think I'd already outgrown it, and I think when like you said, if you're over the age of 18 and you're the Disney fanatic, like you have Disney memorabilia. Now, I just bought a Star Wars poster that
Right.
was awesome. Like
Yeah.
it was badass, and it was pretty expensive. Like it was not just like one of those posters you get at your little college fair where you get ASAP Rocky for like $12. No, no, this was a
No.
legit, it's a movie quality poster. Then I had to
Quality.
buy a frame with it too. It ended up being way, way more expensive than I had ever thought. But now people are labeling me every time I tell someone or share that story. People immediately say, "You're a nerd. Like, you're a Star Wars guy. You're a
No.
freaking geek."
So Star Wars is different. Star Wars has that cult
I
like
don't.
fan following. Well, that's the thing. It wasn't always Disney. Now it's Disney, so it gets lumped in there. I Star Wars, I guess. Yeah, maybe. I mean, but you're not like over the top. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
so
Like,
then I had to deal with the backlash of people saying, "You're not even a legitimate Star Wars fan." And
right?
to them, I would say,
You can't have it both ways,
to them,
right?
I'd say, yeah, like if you rattle off some Star Wars trivia, am I gonna get a lot of it? No,
No,
I'm not.
no shot.
But I think the Star Wars like memorabilia is pretty sweet. Like I think like
Right.
the lightsabers and like Darth Vader, like that shit's cool to me. Like do I need to watch the
See,
movies a
yeah,
lot?
I'm not. I don't
No.
think you
No, no,
fall
no.
into this category. I
No,
don't
I
think you
don't.
fall into this category. I think I'm talking about you can recite the whole movies. You like I said, you're there every year. You're getting the pictures with the princesses and Mickey and Goofy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you got like a niece or nephew or something or little kid, you have a little kid. Yeah, enjoy it with the kid. That's great, great. But
The
I don't know.
waters the
I think
waters are definitely murky there.
the waters are murky. Yeah, and there's a thin line where it becomes like, yeah, this is cool, I enjoy it, I'm a fan, to like I obsess over it. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, the memorabilia with like, like, oh, don't touch it, like almost like the guys with the cards
Or
nowadays.
the
It's like the
bobblehead, or the action. It's like an
yeah.
action figure. It's just too much, man. It's just too
Yeah,
much.
and like as a woman, if I was a woman, I'm not gonna lie, guy has like all the Star Wars and the and the GI Joe action figures. I
Red
might call
flag.
that a red flag. I
That's
might call that a
I
red
know.
flag.
I wouldn't.
So
It
we
is
can
a
flip
red
it
flag.
both ways. Yeah,
It's
we can flip it
absolutely a red
both
flag.
ways.
I want to bring up a story, Jay, and so I was hanging out with someone, and it was like our second or third time hanging out, and we just we were just gonna throw on some TV and just hang, and I threw on 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler, and it just
It's risky.
Netflix doesn't have a lot of good options these days. I don't know if you guys dabble into Netflix at all, but
Yeah,
I think the movie and TV quality of shows that you can even like just stream like casually has gone straight downhill. I've seen all the good ones, and they don't come
right.
out with a lot. I think COVID had maybe something to do with the filming of stuff. Not a lot of stuff's coming out right now. But I threw that on, and it really gave off like I would say like a vibe I wasn't necessarily shooting for, and I didn't really realize it till like 2/3 through the movie. I was like, this is like it's a rom com. If you haven't seen it, it's a pretty decent movie, but I'd say
Yeah.
definitely know what you're getting yourself into when you put something like that on. So I mean, where are we going with this, Jay? I mean, where are we going with this?
Yeah, no, it's a risky thing to do because like you said, you set the vibe. The whatever show you put on during this, where you said you were hanging out, that sets the vibe. So yeah, when you throw rom com on, that gives off, some maybe. I'm guessing she got some ideas from this. I'm guessing she maybe felt a little bit different after she left. She took it a little too literal, I think, is what you're saying.
Yes, I think absolutely, absolutely that is what happened. Um, and I would say that that's on me. Now, I'm not saying I should have thrown on like The Mandalorian or like like Blade Runner or like like I shouldn't have thrown on something like that. But I'm saying you got to really be careful with what you put on because I mean like you said, you're setting the tone, you're setting the vibe, and I would say like even so where do we draw the line with like The Office? Because like that's a obviously well-known show. I think a lot of people out there that are listening have watched The Office or just throwing it on because it's good background.
Right.
You don't really have to be watching it a ton. There's some funny it's all good humor.
Easy to
uh,
follow. Yeah,
Easy
it's
to
like
follow. There's a lot of stuff there, but then you could get into like a Jim and Pam scene where it's like maybe this is too intense. Like where do you draw
yeah.
the line?
Yeah, that Office gets risky because any given episode could be, like a modern day love saga,
Yeah,
between Jim and Pam. I'm not too familiar, but I've seen that trend on the socials. A lot of people are talking about Jim and Pam. Pam. Yeah, I don't even know the details. I know enough to understand that. Yeah, it could be conceived one way from some people and totally different from others. So yeah, it's almost like a crapshoot. Whatever episode you throw on, you might have got yourself into like a 51st dates type situation vibe. You know what
yeah,
I'm
and
saying?
then it's like where do you even go from there? You got to backtrack or you got to call it maybe. You got an audible.
Right.
It gets tough. It gets tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the reason you brought this up was something we had talked about. Y- I think this woman was maybe overstepping. She had intentions of overstepping her side piece title. Would you say that's correct?
I wouldn't necessarily go that far as in because side piece implies that like you have there's side piece implies multiple. No, this was just kind of like next step, and then it was like no, like maybe we're not gonna go that direction.
So yeah, maybe we need to define side piece then. I
I
think
think I mean if you're gonna bring it up, I think maybe
yeah,
you are
I
the
think side piece if I were to define it rather, I think a side piece is almost like it's any open option, any potential audible that you could call there doesn't necessarily have to be any, physical relation, you could say,
Yeah.
um, or any relation at all. But it's just a potential out. It's a potential option. To me, I feel like that's kind of the umbrella side piece. Would you agree?
No, I think I don't. Your definition is a little bit different than mine. I think you might be grouping side piece and friend zone. I think, cause like
Right. Yeah.
I think you're putting the friend zone in that umbrella of side piece. Now, to me, side piece just
Is it
means
okay? Are we talking permanent friend zone? We talking perma friend zone or current friend zone?
I think that's your definition. My definition is just yeah. I think we just have a difference of definition. I think your umbrella is too great. I
It's
I would
bigger. I have a bigger
You've got a
umbrella, is
bigger
what you're
umbrella.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You keep it a little closer to the vest with the side pieces. I just
absolutely.
think I think it if you were to get technical with the cement, with the technicals,
I think
the umbrella gets big. That's all. That's
yeah,
kind of the idea that I was bringing up.
yeah. I agree. I agree. Now
Yeah.
we did kind of have a I would almost say we had a fan submission ask us this. Um, now I don't like to get too carried away into all this type of talk because I like to keep our show a little bit more broad than like
Right.
these kind of narrow topics. But since we did have a fan kind of request this, I will bring it up. Um, was when do they meet the parents? I mean, when is it? Because that is the end game. I think I kind of made a mistake a while back. Like last summer, where I brought someone around with my friend, and they came to like almost like a neighborhood kind of gathering, and then every time I saw these people, they were asking me, hey, where is she? Where is she? What's going on? And it's
Yeah.
like that was on me. Now I should have known better. It was kind of a mistake on my part. I think I jumped the gun.
Jack is mishandling the side pieces. It sounds like. It sounds like you need to brush up on your side piece
Well,
knowledge.
I'm
You should
learning. I'm
know.
learning as well. I didn't
Yeah, we're
claim
learning
to
as we
be
go.
some expert. I'm not a love guru, and that's
No.
not totally what this show's about. We like to get into other stuff as well. We are really tied down on this side piece thing, but hey, you keep it going. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, no, the parents and I would even extend that to the immediate, not immediate, but extended family, you would say,
yeah,
friends of the family, you get risky, bringing the friends you call them around because yeah, people have expectations, they want to see them at the next gathering,
yeah,
and yeah, it gets murky. So you need to be careful when you let them cross that boundary because if they're not ready to graduate, yeah, you probably when you don't want to bring them to the local block party, not a good
no,
look.
but no, I agree with what you're saying. Absolutely. I mean, you can't send them out to the real world if they're not prepared for it. You know,
No,
you
no,
absolutely cannot.
you can't run right away. You got to walk first.
No. Yeah, you gotta ride the bike with some training wheels first, and then get on the big boy bike. But
Yeah,
I wanted to kind of bring this up because going back to the high school games this weekend kind of had me thinking about high school. I mean, it really did. I was reminiscing a lot of my playing days and seeing some of my old teachers and whatnot. I was reminiscing, and it's good to reminisce every now and then.
sure.
And I was kind of doing it, and I was just thinking about something that just kind of teed me off when I was in high school, or even just school in general, was the whole teacher claim of saying like to my parents like, oh, he distracts others. Now,
I
I
got I
want
got a
to
lot of
just
that as
set
well.
the record straight. Just because you have friends and you like to talk to your friends and you like to
Yeah.
goof around, you get the whole distracting others. Now, my question to you would be, why would you care if you're distracting, someone else in your class who you're not? I don't have any ties to anyone I was sitting next to in third grade. Whether they go on to become a rocket surgeon,
That's not my fault.
or they become a shoe shiner. There's nothing like the fact that I'm distracting them, and that's their claim for the remedial, mathematical skills or lack thereof reading capabilities. Like, you cannot put that on me. Don't put that on me, man.
Yeah, you know, I'll die on this hill with you. Yeah, like they don't gotta pay attention to me.
Yeah.
Like tell them that, like I'm doing my thing over here. Like pay attention to the teacher. Like if I'm talking, let me talk to myself. Don't listen.
Yeah.
You know, that's not my fault that you're listening.
And can the teacher
And other
really
kids are
not
listening.
be more entertaining than like a fourth grade kid? Like, can
Right,
they not
yeah.
can they not command the room enough?
Yeah, I think that's what it should have said on our report cards. Commands a room.
Command
You know,
knows how to be social.
Yeah. when he walks in, his presence is felt. You know, those are all good things.
BMOC's the big man on campus.
Yeah.
When he walks
Yeah.
in the room, people acknowledge his presence, and he has this.
Yeah.
You got your clique of boys rolling with you. You're rolling in heavy deep into fifth hour.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
you
be
know
a
what?
party.
Now that you bring that up, I realize that they tried to do us wrong. It's like, no, I wasn't distracting. I wasn't a disruption. I commanded a room. Bottom
Yeah.
line.
Now,
I think that's why me and you are gracing these mics now,
absolutely
talking,
Yeah.
commanding the online room, if you will. We're
The
here to
chat-
command this
yeah,
space.
We're commanding the chat rooms. Now,
Yeah.
I kind of want to get into this too, because I was actually talking to someone who was a teacher, and I had this whole theory of like, so I was reading up on it actually in one of my books too, was when do you start to separate kids in terms of intellectual capability? So like, I remember being in like the 5th grade, and like
Yeah.
a lot of my friends, went on to go into like the blue reading group, and they do the whole blue and red and yellow, and they try to pretend like they randomly did it, and it's like,
Right.
no, those are the 5 smartest kids in the
Yeah,
class.
that
in
book
blue.
is way thicker than the one that I got.
Yeah,
that
like
book
I
is
got a
thick as
picture
fuck.
book. I got a
Yeah.
picture book, and they're reading Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, give me a fucking break.
and
It wasn't random. That
it
wasn't
was
random.
not random. And I'm like looking at my group, and I'm like, these people, this is not the cream of the crop. This isn't the cream of the crop.
Yo,
And,
someone in Jack's book club group is gonna fucking comment some hate on this episode. They're like, you talking shit about me? I'm the cream of the crop. But anyways, carry on. So you're looking at your group.
I'm looking
and
at my
it's not
group,
looking
and there's
good.
not a ton of I would say, like, they don't have the highest ceiling. Like I know it's only 4th and 5th grade, but like you can kind of tell it's like, okay,
They're a high floor, low ceiling play in your flex.
I just
if that's how
didn't
we're...
love, and I think you got to look at it is to when do you start to like separate these kids in terms of intellectual ability, because then you have some kids that get pulled out for math, and you have
Right.
some kids that go and they do remedial math, and you have some kids that go do advanced math. Now, luckily for me, I was just in normal math. Now, and those people weren't really the cream of the crop either. But but what I'm saying is like, is 5th grade too early? Because what I would say was, even in high school, I was not in National Honor Society. Now, if you were in National Honor Society, maybe you shoot me maybe you add me on LinkedIn so I can see what you're up to, because there was plenty of people, I think, that, got off to like, they just tried a lot harder.
A hot start.
They just tried a lot harder. Their mom was maybe on their ass. They, did all the extracurricular, brought in the tissue boxes for extra credit.
The box tops. Yeah.
The baked goods, like, they kissed ass. And
Right.
it got them off to like this fast start, but I think in the end it all evens out. But where are we going with this, Jay?
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I don't know. You went all over the place. In terms of, at what point do you start separating kids? I guess I didn't really notice when it happened. I'm sure it was happening all throughout, and we maybe just started noticing it at whatever age. You're like, oh damn, they're like putting the smart kids with the smart kids. But I think, I don't know, I think where you're talking, I don't know if you're discrediting or crediting. I would credit the American school system. I think they did, because I felt like people learned at their own speed. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's ultimately the answer you're looking for is there is no set time of when you start distinguishing those levels because it's different for every individual kid, so to say. So,
I think you're
and I
thinking
think,
of a Montessori school, Jalen. We went to a public we went to a public
yeah,
elementary
yeah,
school. We
yeah,
went to
no.
the same one, and they don't. I mean, they do, but they group you together with people. And what I'm saying is, when I looked at my group, and I looked at my buddy's
So you
group.
think they were maybe misinterpreting your scores a little bit. You're like, I need to be up. I need to be up with
Well,
those thicker
maybe
books.
I just wasn't that bright in the third grade. Maybe I was a slow developer. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
okay. That's all right.
Yeah, like I got a lot of 3 out of 4s on the report card, and like if it's out of
You got
scale of
good marks.
yeah, I mean, if it's out of 4, though, like that's 75%. Like it's not
Yeah,
great.
I never quite understand the those grading scales go like the 3 to the 4, like how,
How
what
big
if
of a
it's like a
difference is
3.8?
that? Yeah.
Are you rounding up? Are you rounding down? Yeah,
There's
it's
no
like
like 3
might as well
plus
give
or
them the
3
4.
minus. Like you're either at a 3 or you're
Right.
at a 4. And if you're at a 4, you're at 100%. You're at a 3, you're at a 75%. That's not a great clip.
Yeah, that's harsh. That seems
It's
harsh.
harsh. Like how do I get with the 4s? Like maybe I just hang out the 4s after school.
Yeah, I never imagined No Vest to try to tackle the American grading policies and the issues that are deeply rooted in the school system. But hell, I'm here for it. I think we can really make some change.
Well, what I really wanted to get at was just the whole distracting others thing. I think it's just like if I had a kid in elementary school and they came to me and they said, little Otchi is, he's got his band of boys. He's running in like 4 or 5 deep, and he's causing a circus show, and he's distracting others. The kids love him, but he's just
Right.
distracting others. And I would be like, what's the
It sounds
problem?
like it sounds like he commands the room.
Sounds
I
like
don't know
he's
what else
gonna.
to say.
Sounds like he's gonna follow in his father's footsteps and have some
Yeah.
badass podcast.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about that. Yeah, and like now, I mean, hell, all the schools are online and stuff. It's like, how bad can you be? You just mute the kid, you know? It's like, I don't know. I think we're up to see a lot of change. I think even if like schools, or even when
They
rather
are
schools
coming
open,
back. They're coming
yeah, I
back.
think we're gonna still see a lot of like the online. I think we're seeing a big change in how schooling is
One
just
of the other theories I
moving
wanna
forward.
I wanna debunk before we sign off is just the whole freaking. When you're in 5th grade, the 6th graders tell you, wait till you get to 6th grade. It's gonna be really tough. When you're in 6th
Right,
grade, 7th grade, it's gonna be really tough.
right.
7th grade, the 8th graders tell you, hey, wait till you get to 8th grade. You might not pass it. That is a load of garbage.
Yeah, it was all a lie all the way up. I'm
All
not
the
gonna
way up.
lie. Like,
Or the
yeah,
whole
and I didn't.
permanent record thing. Like if you get 3 times, if you get like 3 write-ups, it goes on your permanent record.
Yeah,
Like, do I
I'd
have to
like to see
submit
that
that in
record.
my job application as a grown man? Like
No,
7th grade, got sent to timeout 4 consecutive weeks in a row. Permanent. It's on my
right.
permanent record.
Yeah, and like, yeah, it's brutal. That record doesn't exist. I'd like to see mine, to be honest, because it's probably pretty bad,
It's
but
probably not a great track record.
it's not a great record. But like, I mean, our point is that the records don't exist. It was
Absolutely.
all a facade. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna take back all the credit that I gave to the American school system. It's kind of phony. I'm off it.
Yeah.
I'm out.
It's totally a joke. Totally a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to get into what to expect in future episodes. I think next week, Jay, we were talking about trying something new. That's one of the fun things is starting your own podcast is you can really do whatever you want with it and take it a lot of different directions. So we kind of want to
Yeah.
try something out next week. And we want to have people shoot us a message or, message us and say, hey, I want to call in. And the question is, and we want to get a decent little poll going, I would say, of different people shooting in. Message us what college they think has the most attractive women, because I think that there's a lot of different ways you can go with it, and I think that's a good topic. We'll just touch on it for 5 to 10 minutes. If you want to shoot us a message, or you know what, we might have a couple people call in and kind of explain their theories, see what they think. I think it should be pretty fun. Honestly, if girls want to respond and you want to say what
Yeah,
college
they
has
have
the
an
best
opinion.
looking guys, absolutely shoot it to us. I don't know how much we'll be able to touch on it, but like I said, you can call in and give us your spiel. Um,
Yeah, hit our DMs, hit whatever. We'll reach out. We want to know what you think or where you think the most attractive females are. I think we have a little bit of a reach of people in all different regions of America. I think we'll get some different answers, but I have an idea of where people might think. I guess we'll find out, next week.
we will absolutely find out. Anything else before we sign off, Jay? Anything you want to get into? Anything you want to wrap up?
No, I just want to shout out everyone, reaching out to us. A lot of feedback every week. People coming up with things they want us to sound off on. We try to get to all that. We see, we're checking everything. So keep reaching out, keep dropping comments, drop a comment how dust Jack's haircut is, or his dance moves in the beginning. Yeah, we're here for all that. Give us some chirps, give us some feedback. Anything is appreciated. So
Absolutely, and
yeah.
if you don't hear your topic right away, I mean, generally it takes us a couple episodes. We got a lot of stuff backlogged. We got a lot of stuff coming up in episodes 6, 7, and 8. We got a lot of stuff. We kind of already have the topics kind of laid out. We're
Yeah,
excited,
2021. We're looking long term. We're looking good. We got a lot of stuff on our plate.
and
And yeah, we're just taking it bite by bite.
we're excited. I don't. No Vest is going nowhere. We appreciate you guys. Like I said, listening every week. I had a lot of people come up to me this weekend and talk to me about the podcast. It's always fun. It's always good stuff.
Yeah.
So that is episode 5. We appreciate you folks listening. Thank you.
No vest.